The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with Dillon Squier. This guy is one of the coaches on our team. He gets to talk with most of you guys. If you book a call to talk with one of the coaches, you might get to talk to Dillon, who's awesome. And I love having these guys on because they have a different perspective. Myself and Suzanne and some of the other coaches we have on talk more with clients, whereas Dillon gets to talk more with people that are not clients and that are kind of like you guys, like you listeners, the bulk of you, right? So I just love having these guys on and share their just, I don't want to say input, but their experience and their just what they've seen from you guys, what you're struggling with, what works, what doesn't work, all that good stuff. So Dillon, say hey, introduce yourself, and we'll dive in.
Like Mike said, my name's Dillon Squier. You'll probably talk to me at one point or the other if you talk to us, but I'm with him for a little bit now. And then my side of things is seeing people, like he said previously, that we haven't worked with yet, but kind of guiding them and getting to see lots of really cool people in all stages of the business programship in their own life, and try to guide them in the right place and where they need to be. So
let's just start with big picture of what's working and not working. What do you do? We'll do the not fun one first. What do you see theme-wise, having to talk to people over and over and over again? Because mostly when they call us, they're stuck, right? Sometimes probably 20% will call like, I'm doing really good and I want to do a lot better. But a lot are like, I am stuck and I don't know why, or I do know why, but I don't know how to get unstuck. What themes do you see of people that stay stuck and don't win that Clean Nation kind of take away from?
Yeah, so that's an easy one. So I think the number one thing that I see time and time again is people put a lot of time thinking about where they want to be, but then when it comes down to the moment of how to actually get there and what they need to do, it's tough for them to make that move. So the goals are there. They know it's where they want to be. They've been stuck for a long time, but it's actually the execution of putting it in and starting whatever it needs to be, however that plan is, to actually get there. Because I think it's easy to think about, the greener side, how all this money and stuff for the business is up and running. But the simple thing is just taking the first step. And I think a lot of people just get stuck with the paralysis of just not taking the step. If they would have in any direction, it's progress instead of just staying what they are.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a bit. The only slight change I go, as opposed to the first step, I'd go the next step, because a lot of times I mentioned this a couple of times before on the podcast, people will book calls with us and they get scared, which is weird. We've never had a fatality or anything like it's, and they won't do it. They won't show up. And then they'll call back a year or two later and change their lives. And I wish I'd have done something. And then sometimes even they get into the coaching and, myself and the coaching team will ask them to do something. So it's kind of always taking that next step, and you're in the right direction when the next step is a little scarier than the one before, right? Like everything that you want is just on the other side of that comfort zone, and you can be in your comfort zone or you can be in success, but those are mutually exclusive. Okay. So what I hear you saying is not taking the next step, just being stuck and kind of spending a lot of time getting excited about where they want to be and kind of pumping themselves up. And it's like, okay, time to do the work, which is oftentimes going to be scary, or like we said, outside the comfort zone, then they don't move forward. And why do you think that? I mean, obviously now we're in speculation. Why do you think that is?
I think it's easy to be, even if you're uncomfortable, it's easy to get comfortable with doing what you have been doing because you know what it is. So even if it hasn't worked out for you, what your next day is going to be, even if your schedule is always a mess, like you're used to it and you're comfortable with it being a mess because you don't have to change anything. So I think the big thing, like the hardest part for people, is just because it's something new to them, which if they're struggling, they have been struggling, that's not new to them. So they at least can forecast what's coming. Whereas changing, not everything, but at least, your core values and how you do things with yourself can be extremely difficult because it's not challenging, but it's up against, who you are to this point. So it's making that change over and really trusting something that you may not know completely at the time, even though if it's the right direction.
And having been pretty successful and had some spectacular failures, me looking back, and this kind of goes with my experience with you guys, Clean Nation, is I think we have this picture of success, like it's just going to feel clean and good and easy and just like, and maybe it's even worse with social media, right? Because everyone's posting like, I made $1 million in 10 seconds. And maybe they did, but they don't show the like 30 years building up or the very difficult things they had to do before that no one else was willing to do, that went into them being an overnight success. So I think we can get fooled into thinking just like talking ourselves up or saying stuff like, I'll just work harder, or even working harder, but not doing anything different, just working harder at the same thing, the same way. We think we're going forward when in reality, it's like the thing that you need to do probably won't feel super safe and comfortable. It's like, yeah, there's a ton of risk in entrepreneurship. Like a lot of us lose. So yeah, I would encourage you, either if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to be an entrepreneur, and that involves risk, and you want to make it calculated, and you want to, I'm not saying be stupid or throw caution to the wind, but it is a high risk environment. You have to be decisive, make a decision. That doesn't work, make another decision. That doesn't work, make another decision. And that's just what it looks like. And if you're like, I don't want that, I just want everything to be good all the time, like get a job. That's just a different, still risk, not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. Us entrepreneurs need employees, but you got to make sure you're clear on matching what you're willing to do with what you want. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to think and take actions like an entrepreneur. And if you want to be think and take action like a worker bee, you're a worker bee. You pretend you're an entrepreneur, but it ain't gonna work. Okay. What about the flip side? What do people do that does work, where you're like, what is the theme of people that do get the results that they want?
I think really it's just, you can tell when someone comes in, and they put not their guard down, but it's really facing like, okay, like I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but I know, what I have been doing is not working. So I'm going to put and make myself, really the word is coachable, or like a sponge, right? In the right groups, in the right area, if that's changing up who's around you. I don't know, you and me have talked about this, like putting myself in the right environment, and these people just willing to accept, like, I need some help, and now I'm in front of the experts, or in front of whoever I know who does it a little bit better than me, and now I'm just going to take it in and let someone kind of help me guide me. Versus being, I can listen all day, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to change anything about my decision making, and this is what I'm doing, and because it's what I want to do, and I don't want to allow myself to accept that maybe there are people that do things a little bit better than me, and that's where I need to be finding that next step, or finding that next piece of information, from the people who are already done.
And again, it's a comfort zone thing, right? Because it's comfortable. Yeah. I'll just do what I want to do because that's what I like doing. It's sad that working harder for most of us is comfortable. But then I think a lot of times we're not coachables. The people that are winning and getting the results that we want, the stuff they say is like, oh, that sounds hard, I don't want to do that. So then we're like, okay, well, now we're just stuck. And just so you guys know, I drink my own medicine, and Dillon drinks his own medicine. The mentorship group I'm in, and I get, my company gets paid millions of dollars for me and my team to coach. I'm still spending $70,000 a year, not $70,000 a year on my own education. And I'm probably $500,000 in, and I didn't go to college. So, and I know Dillon before he found me, and I spent a ton of time coaching him. He still spends tens of thousands of dollars on his own education. So don't just watch what the people that are being successful say, watch what they do. And when they match up and they're successful in the area that you want to be successful in, that's somebody you want to listen to. Sorry, it looks like you're going to say something, Dillon.
No, yeah, just like, and this about me, like when I made some of those decisions that cost me tens of thousands of dollars, like I didn't know where rent was coming from the next month, but I knew what I was doing was not working. And the people that were where I wanted to be, they were telling me that was the right decision. And I made this decision. I'm no longer in that place where I'm worrying about rent, and I'm there because I diagnosed the problem, and someone else who was an expert diagnosed the problem. And at the end of the day, like the doctor said, that was the medication that I needed. And it's extremely uncomfortable for me, but I made it, and it's been the right decision every day. There's because the fear versus the what logically makes sense here. So,
and what is unsaid, but I'm going to pick at it a little bit, is you said what I would think is half of the truth, which is the people that were getting the results that I wanted said this is the right path, so I took it. Mm-hmm. Right. Not judging anyone in your life, just going off of having a little bit of experience in this area. Right. I'm guessing the people that weren't where you want to be in your life, and I know you're pretty good at eliminating those, but it's never going to be perfect. They might have said, are you insane? Why would you spend that kind of money? Like, why would you be? And again, to be fair, Dillon's a younger guy. He's not married, no kids. So I was also young and dumb like Dillon when I had not married and no kids, and I could be homeless, or not be homeless, but risk homelessness or whatever. So I get, if you're a little older, you got some kids, I still would take probably more risks than the other guy, but just there's a little context. That said, I'm guessing the people in your life would say, are you insane? Why would you give that kind of money for your education as opposed to, and when I go education, no offense, colleges, but very few people come out of college with a skill that's going to make them any money unless and even if you're a doctor or lawyer, they don't give you the skill. They give you the checkbox so you can go get the skill and actually practice law and practice medicine and then begin. So did you have those people? I'm not trying to call anyone out, but did you have those people in your life who were like, that's insane, that's crazy, and kind of made you second guess yourself? Or was it just nothing but supporters as far as the eye can see?
No, like I'd say out of my whole pool that I knew, probably 10% said support, and we're like, this is what you want to do. That's more important than their own fear, which really stems back to only two questions matter when someone says, are they or not against what you're doing, which is, do their goals align with your goals? And if they do they already have? So are they in a place where they've proven they have achieved the goals when they're similar to my goals? And 99% of the time, they're not, right? And that person telling me not to take the step is just because they never did it themselves. And they were scared. And you unfortunately get to see where that led them, which is another factor for why maybe you should do something different. So,
yeah, I've got a personal trainer that I like. And when it comes to eating and building muscle and not getting injured, I listen to him because he's smart. He's a lot smarter than I am. But when it comes to building a business, I don't listen so much to him, right? Because he's a great guy. It's just, he doesn't have the business that I'd like to have. Real quick, Cleaning Nation, if you can think about how you found out about this podcast, maybe a tweet, a Facebook message, iTunes search, some sort of Instagram post, the only way we grow is word of mouth. We don't do paid ads. We don't run ads. You are it. The only ask I have is if you're getting value, share the love. However you found out about this, if it's a review or post, whatever it is, do that. Pay it forward so the next cleaning company owner can change their life as well. Back to the show. All right, so let's sum up, and then I'll just kind of leave it open, Dillon, for you to give whatever feedback you feel would be of use to Cleaning Nation. The things that I hear you saying you see as a pattern not working are not being coachable, kind of being doggedly committed to what you're doing, even if it's not getting what you want. And our best guess is because it's comfortable. And it's like the devil that I hate to make this an analogy because it's such a difficult situation, but it's like people in bad relationships, like women that are in abusive relationships. And everyone's like, how could you possibly say it's like, because it's scarier to me to go do this other thing, right? And again, we all look at that and like, oh my God, that would be terrifying. I couldn't imagine living like, and like, it ain't great. But going on my own and trying to figure this out, that's even scarier. And I kind of see us having bad relationships with our business or our jobs that we just keep taking the abuse. And I'm not making an equivocation. It's not the same, but the concept is similar, where we are in this bad relationship with our business or our job. And it's like, well, I know this isn't the life that I want to live, but I'm just not willing to do what it takes to get out. So that's the first side. The back side is the opposite of that, which would make sense, which is I'm coachable. I'm constantly looking for people that are living the life. And if they say, do this scary thing, then I'm going to do that scary thing. And of course, we've also, core values, morals, ever a good coach tells me to lie, cheat, or steal to get there. I'm like, well, I'm not willing to do that. I'd rather just be poor. But within the safe bounds of morality and doing right things and being kind to other humans and not hurting people, just shut up and listen, right? I've said repeatedly on the podcast, the people that are wildly successful in our program are the ones that are just too dumb to know that it won't work. So they just go along, do what we ask them to do, dumb as a stump, and get massive results. And I'm being a little facetious here, and the smart people in huge air quotes have 1,000 questions, but my situation is different. And I want to do it like this. And they're just fighting like heck to keep doing it the way they've been doing it. It's like, you can keep doing it the way you've been doing it. You're just going to keep getting and they just want to, they're not even fighting with me. It breaks my heart. They're fighting with their own perception of reality. And, take business out of it. I do the same thing with, again, health. I can shake my fist at the sky that I can't lose weight eating bacon cheeseburgers. And maybe my body is wrong. Who knows? But I'm going to lose the fight. So I can make all the moral and ethical and it's not right and it shouldn't be. But it is what it is. And my body says, if you'd like to look and feel this way, you will feed me that food. And if you feed me this food, you're looking and feel a different way. And I can bitch and complain that it's not fair. And maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, if I want to look and feel a certain way, I've got to eat a certain way. Anything to add to that before we kind of move on, buddy?
No. Yeah. I would just say it comes down to like, I've now doing this with time and spending time around the team and like all the cleaning companies and everything and seeing the people who really took off versus not. It's the $1 million, $10 million businesses are built in the time that seem like the worst, not the flaunting, the best. I think it's easy to make any decision in a really good time when everything's super, super well. But being able to calm down and logically make decisions at a time that's really harsh, I think, is what makes the extremely successful people that people then don't think about in the future when they just see the success.
I'm going to butcher a quote that's more for kind of nations, not businesses, but it's so applicable to what Dillon said. It says, strong men make good times, strong men make good times make weak men make bad times. So it's very much the same with the business owner, right? Strong business owners make good times, but then good times can create weak or soft business owners. Soft business owners create bad business, and it goes over and over. So you can be soft a couple ways. You can be soft on your success, but like Dillon said, the success is a ton of fun, but that's not when you get everybody. I think it was David Goggins has on his, I think I showed this to you guys, has his must be nice on his squat rack. And he looks at it because everybody comes by, oh, must be nice to look like you. Oh, must be nice to have the success that you do. And he's alone with the squat rack at 4 o'clock in the morning when his family's in bed and it's dark and cold out and he's busting his hump, when everyone that says must be nice is at home in their warm bed, not busting their hump. So he put it ahead. And I love that. That's really the truth when, oh, you rich business owners, you get all the whatever. And it's like, where were you when I slept in my office because I have the money? Where were you when I worked 50 days straight? Where were you when I invested rent money in my own daggum education? You know what I'm saying? Like, must be nice. Like, yeah, it is nice. As a matter of fact, thanks for asking. All right. So we'll do a fun question, then I'll let you end it any way you want. I just thought this would be fun for Clean Nation. So being on the inside of the team, I talk a bunch of crap. Give us inside, and I told Dillon before we start, just be honest and have fun. Those are the rules. So those continue, Dillon. What's the thing that, because Clean, we all talk a bunch of crap. Like, I wonder what it's like really in there. Like, what's it really like? Is Mike a complete raving lunatic? Like, what's going on? So give us the good and the bad about, 2-3 minute summary about what you love about being on the team and how that can benefit Clean Nation and them being leaders of their own teams. And if there's anything you're like, this part isn't so great, I don't think I love that as much, share that. So maybe I can get better, and certainly Clean Nation can get better because their teams might feel the same way.
Yeah. I guess I'll start out with the good. I've been on other teams, and this, of course, where it's like everyone is a separate cog in the wheel. This part of the team knows about this part of the team. There's no really interaction there. There's just, this is what it takes to get the tank moving. You know what I mean? But immediately from day one, I know with this team, it's been like, I know not just in the ecosystem with everyone else, but everyone else has like a plausible connection, right, between every single person. Like, I've talked with Suzanne, and I've talked with Janelle, I've met them in person, and like everyone on the team knows everything about everyone else, in a good way. And they can kind of walk you through the history and whatnot. And so just the overall environment, like, it's pushed to be really effective, but not in a way that's harsh, where it's like effectiveness over like connection. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone really mixes together that's brought onto the team. The team like really all has the same mindset in the end of the helpful portion of it, and really in like the right morality part of it. So it's just felt super strong. And I know it's one of the things, like, every day when I get up for like the meetings and whatnot, like, it's something I'm happy and I'm excited to do, which is new for me, admittedly, right? I think it's been a lot of teams where it's been like, okay, great, the next meeting, here's this person that's going to ramble and do all this stuff, and we're just going to get shot down. And I've never, ever felt that since. And it's just so, when you're talking to people too, it's just the feeling of knowing they're bringing into an environment with a team that's just set on 100% helping them and is really out for them, just makes it so achievable, right? Because like the team is just there to take care of them.
So Clean Nation, I want to, if I'm translating that to value that you guys could get, it would be twofold. One, Dillon's got lots of options, right? He's a talented guy. He could work plenty of places. And I'm guessing 20, 30, 40%, I don't know, some substantial percent, he'd probably make more money if that was his big thing. Because a lot of times owners of cleaning companies, it's wages. And you tell me, Dillon, if you're like, nope, it's all about the money. This is where I think I can make the most money. Call me a liar. I won't hurt my feelings. He's here, I think, because of the community, because he's like, I want to be a part of something greater. So you guys can do that. And the way we do it's a little different because we're a virtual team. But for you guys, that looks a lot like the weekly meetings and the monthly parties. That's how you create, and the running it by core values, your core values. So that would be if you're like, that all sounds great, how do I create that? Core values based hiring, weekly meetings, monthly parties. Anything to add that before you give us the stuff that you don't love? What's the dirty secrets that we have that isn't great that people are dying to know?
No, I'd say that's right on the head. Like I said, before I was able to come on the team, like, I had an offer that was 3 or 4 times the payment of this one. The best thing that ever happened to me is I didn't get it. Because I could tell the team ecosphere and everything was exactly not what this one is. So I think that goes so much further than great money on a terrible team. Like that's somewhere you can't survive or can't grow more so, which I'd much rather be here. So,
and to be fair, guys, you do have to pay fair, right? So like if I was trying to pay Dillon slave wages, maybe he'd stay, but probably not. So but it's not. So when I say it's not about the money, it is as long as he feels like he's being treated fairly, right? Because if not just him, but anyone, like if you're like, I love you, man, you're a part of this team, we care about each other, but I'm going to try and scam you and take advantage on pay. You're like, well, that just doesn't seem like you're telling the truth. So it's not. Yeah, once you're kind of at or above average pay, and we try and pay a little better than average, that's what we coach you guys to do. It's not about the money. And there are some people that would be about the money, but they're not going to be the Dillons. They're not going to be the people that you want. They're just mercenaries. They're going to go to the next place for the next thing. Okay. Super helpful. What isn't good? What does Cleaning One Nation want to go? What goes on in there that isn't the best? Where's Mike full of crap? I'm actually interested to hear this one too.
That's a pretty tough one. I haven't really done any too like hard concrete walls where I'm like, that wasn't what I expected. Because everything's been super good. I mean, as far as like, I guess, as far as like what's not good, I guess, like, there's nothing terrible, nothing bad. Like when we all met up, like in person, like I loved everyone and had a really great time. I guess I'd say the only thing bad is sometimes when I'm on the phone with someone and you can tell it's a really killer opportunity. Like there is those moments when I'm like, I kind of wish I was on the other side of the phone coming in to work with the team, the opportunity to work on part of the client. Because part of it gets a little bit, not jealous, but like, now that I know what it is and, the success of the clients, like, dang, maybe I should be on the other side.
We have lost the mindset, coach, to owning a cleaning company. So there is that.
But yeah, no, other than that, like the energy's been great. Like, I guess the only bad thing, sometimes I get up and I'm not super energy. And for everyone that's met Mike, like the energy is constant. So like it's coming no matter what. But
yeah, for those of you on the podcast, this that I bring to the table, as my wife would say, it's great in small doses, but if you get a little too much, you can be like, ooh, I like Mike, but I think I've had my fill for the day. I'm going to maybe try to do something different. All right, awesome. I'm going to leave the floor to you, man. Anything you'd like to add of value to Cleaning Nation that can make their world a little better or help them on their journey?
No, not too much. I just say like in those really tough moments, I think like the thing that I think of every morning to get me going is like, am I more worried about the decision today or am I more worried about getting 20 years down the line and knowing that I did nothing? And like my future to me is more important than any fear I could have today. Because that's what really changes. One decision today to change my entire future or living, 20, 30 years in fear just to worry about what decision could have been one to change, but I didn't try anything. So I think that's my huge takeaway, like the mindset that I would think leads me every day to a good place.
That's going to be honestly a great matrix for making all decisions. Like how is this going to affect 20 years from now, Mike or Dillon or, insert your name. And if it's like, I'm going to do something scary now, it's like 10 years from now, what if this thing works or doesn't work? Or what if it turns out the way I hope? Or if it turns out the way I don't want it to work? Would I still 20 years from now, 10 years from now, have more regret that I did nothing or that I tried something that didn't work? Because again, didn't work such a fuzzy feeling. Like didn't work how you mean? Like, did you have to switch your goals? Was it the first of 4 things that you had to try, the first of one thing? So I love that. If you kind of take that longer term view, I think it makes it easier to make decisions. And for me, and I think most successful people, and it sounds like Dillon, doing nothing is the one unforgivable sin, right? I could have done something and I did nothing and I knew nothing wasn't going to work in here because 20 years is going to happen. I'm getting old now. So like we think, I'll never be 40, 50 and I'm 49. So I don't know what it'll be like to be 60 or 70, but I've talked to older people and they're like, man, it just seems like yesterday I was, your age or 10 years or 20 years go by like nothing. So that time is coming and it's going to come whether you take action and take some swings or not. And it's going to come. And are you going to still be working or having a business that you don't love? Or are you going to be living the life that you want? That this guy right now gets to do the scary things to create that or do nothing and pretty much ensure that things will stay the same or get worse. All right. Clean Nation, if that was helpful to you and you want more, go to growmycleaningcompany.com. Tons of free stuff. Instagram, got a Facebook group, yada, yada. And I'll just go so far as to say, if you want Dillon's help, because we got lots of coaches. If you want Dillon, just email him, Dillon, Dillon at growmycleaningcompany.com. Tell him you heard the podcast. You want some love. You need some help. You are making a decision. You want some help in guidance on what to do next. I know he looks like he's 12 years old, but he's actually wise beyond his years for those of you on YouTube. All right, cool. Check us out. We'll see you there. Well, here we are at the end of the podcast and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend. Share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431, 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.